What's up, guys? So yes, we love our toys, and you've gone to a dealership and you've decided you're going to buy yourself a buggy, you're going to buy yourself maybe a dirt bike, maybe a used car. And in this scenario, you actually have some cash. You're like, you know what, this place has a really good deal. It's close to where I live. I'm going to go take a look at it and make a cash offer. You pay cash, you buy the vehicle, you take it home like I did this one, and then the dealer doesn't send you the title. Why didn't they send it? What's the probable scenario? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. And if you ever buy something cash or even deal with a dealer for any time period where you expect the title within a few months, you're going to want to watch this video because I learned a lesson that you don't have to. There is a first version of this video, part one, which I would encourage you to check out kind of here. I'm putting it on screen. The link is down below. It will describe the situation, but in brief, I paid cash for this side-by-side from a dealership. It was a trade-in. The original owner had financed it, and basically they just weren't sending me the title. So I made a video about it, kind of went into detail. Check it out if you'd like to. But for those of you that have followed along with the situation, I wanted to update you on how I resolved it and the ugly truth of just the reality of how hard it is to get help in the state of Nevada specifically. But this will still help you in other states. But yep, I got the title. Stick around. You're watching Night Drive TV.
I always wanted to build fast cars, so self-taught I started with engine swaps, composites in my apartment to multiple shops, tuning, fabrication, and more. 10 years later, the big time, SEMA, Speed TV, I climbed from nothing, but I lost it all. This is my new ride, Night Drive TV. Failure is not an option. Us car guys keep banging the gears of life.
So, just to recap, basically, I bought this in October, I believe it was, of last year. And I went to the dealership. It was a trade-in. It was about three years old, I guess, 3.5 years old, something like that. It was traded in by the original owner who actually bought it at that location. There was no indication there was any issue. So, you know, I proceeded with a cash-only transaction. Running these through credit, you know, they're very hard to finance. I took a little bit of damage back in 2018 when we relocated here, so the interest rate was too high and I opted to pay cash. So paid in full 100% that day, took it home that day. So this is what I learned over the extent of the process, and this will probably apply to most states are going to have similar laws to this. Obviously, this is a state issue, so if you have this problem to where you realize you don't have a title, obviously you're going to have to check your state-specific laws, but as I've found in my research, they're all pretty similar. So first of all, let me show you here the date. So there is the date of issue, 5/13. So as you can see, this was finally issued in May. So basically what had happened is after I posted the last video, a couple of you guys reached out to me, basically started to give me a little bit of advice. Some of you guys were former dealership like finance managers. I had one of you guys that I think kind of partially owned a car lot, something like that. We ended up doing VIN searches. They were able, one individual was able to look into basically like a title search to see if it was hung up or anything like that. We honestly didn't find any data. What I started doing was doing what I typically do is, you know, when dealing with a large company, and this is RideNow Powersports, and it's a nationwide chain. I actually think it is still you know, individually owned. I don't think that, I thought initially these may have been franchises, but I think it's possible that all these dealerships are actually still owned under one entity and one group. So, you know, when going against a company like that, I mean, obviously, you know, one may think the only option is to sue, get an attorney and go after them. So obviously it's an option. And so let me just kind of outline the Nevada laws as I had determined it. So in the state of Nevada, with an off-highway vehicle, basically when you sell the vehicle, dealership, they have 30 days to report that sale. That sale has to be, there's an ORS report, I believe it's called. It's an off-road register of sale, something like that. But in the state of Nevada, what's unique here is that you do not have to file for a title in order to submit someone the initial request to the state to give them registration. And this is what I've learned has caused a lot of people problems in the state of Nevada. Point being is dealerships can basically conduct the sale and get you registration fairly quickly. That is not an indication that the titling, paperwork, and all the necessary components of the deal are done. It's a separate issue with the state of Nevada. So I received registration 2 months after I bought the vehicle, and I think I indicated this in the last video. So it was around, I guess, late December. The issue I had was I already didn't want this anymore. You know, you can't test drive a lot of these. They don't have a little track for you to drive around on. I felt it was a little bit harsh for me. It hurt my back a bit. I've had some back injuries, and I just felt the suspension was a little too harsh. I really only had it about a month and a half, and I wanted to get rid of it, so I was waiting for the title. This was something I indicated to them early on. You know, where's my title? I want to get rid of this. So at the point of the last video, basically, you know, I had been putting pressure on them, and what I had learned is that they had lost their titling agent. I don't know what happened to that person. They started making a bunch of excuses as to what the problem was with the title, but I did speak to the person they had newly hired, and she said, we don't even have it. We don't have the information. She said the bank has it. So this is what I started to investigate after the last video, and what a few people helped me try to figure out. So you have two possibilities here for the dealership to not have the title. The first issue could be that basically when the person traded this in and they had an active loan on it, obviously when the dealership takes it in on trade, it's up to them to clear that loan with that owner's bank and pay off that loan, or it's going to remain on their credit. They're going to remain having to pay payments. It could be disastrous. Their bank obviously would retain the title as a lien, as is normal with all finance transactions on vehicles. I'm still not clear to this day what the issue was here, whether or not, I don't think that bank had it. What it seemed to me to be was dealerships, obviously, when they take in vehicles and they pass through vehicles through their dealership, there's not a huge often exchange of actual cash. They have another bank that basically finances what's called their floor plan. And so a bank basically handles those transactions, loans them and fronts them that money for a little piece of the deal. And dealerships tend to, from my understanding, have a lot of latitude. If the credit rating, I suppose, of the business is pretty good, and they have a floor plan which is, you know, for, I don't know, $100,000 or $50,000, or, you know, obviously it's a lot more than that when it comes to cars, and you know, you could probably have call a multi-million-dollar floor plan with larger dealerships. The issue is there's a lot of faith there, right? So if the bank that, you know, when they brought it in and they took this in on trade, they basically reported it to their floor plan, and their floor plan bank finance would pay it off to the original owner's bank, and then they would assume the debt, basically. So then when the dealership sold it to me, it would be the dealership's responsibility to pay the floor plan and obviously, you know, take it off of there. So what I've learned extensively from you guys and from a lot of the research I had to do is that dealerships are pretty fraudulent when it comes to this floor plan. And so basically what it requires is that the floor plan be audited. So what I got caught into was I paid them for the vehicle, and they never closed the deal either with the original bank or their bank that finances their floor plan. And I think it's the latter was probably the issue. And so this allows for, I think, an essential Ponzi maybe. And so this is my speculation. I'm not stating anything as fact. These are my findings, these are my opinion, but it seems to me you could get into an essential Ponzi to where, you know, the expenses of the dealership, the payroll, the things like that, you know, they have a bill they need to pay to that floor plan, I would assume. And, you know, how they delegate what money goes to the floor plan, that you know, if they miss the bill and there's an audit, and the floor plan comes in and says, hey, we think that you have all this, and look what you've got here, you know, it's all mixed up, you're not paying us. They could take back the vehicles. There could be a repossession by the financing bank. There could be a lot of problems, basically. So in my position, as I was learning this, What are my options? Well, I don't know which situation is fact, but I do have something from the mouth of the title agent that's saying, we don't have the title. She told me that. We're trying to clear it up. I spoke to the general manager next, and this would be after I posted the last video. I spoke to the general manager next, and I said, look, you got to take this back. I don't have a title. I actively still didn't have a title. This was probably April. I said, you got to take this back. I don't want it. I think it's your obligation to take it back. It's depreciated in this period of time. As the economy has come to a bit of a halt, obviously in the housing market and certain things, lending is starting to get a little bit tighter because we've had interest rates go up, things like that. The depreciation on this has accelerated, I think, outside of kind of a normal curve. These in Las Vegas, I just feel people are very debt loaded, and these have plummeted in value to nearly half what I paid, much quicker than would have been normal years prior. And obviously we have a lot of volatility here with, you know, I don't want to get into economics and all this stuff. I'm really no expert, but we got inverted yield curves, and we got inflation. We got all kind of things happening. So, you know, point is, I'm like, I got trapped in this deal because you had to submit within 30 days a register of sale, which you did not. Your titling agent admitted to me you didn't even have the title. You took my money, which was $20,000 outright, and I have not received legal ownership. If I'd have gotten stopped by BLM agents or park rangers or something like that, I didn't have proof of ownership of this vehicle. So that could have had implications, and I used it less, quite frankly, because I just didn't have the legality to take it where I wanted to take it. So basically, I continued to talk to them, and they said, well, we're going to have to review it and see if we want to buy it back. So this next step is often what I tend to do is, again, what's my step? Some people say get an attorney. I will tell you, in the state of Nevada, we have two cities, basically. We have Reno. Well, we got a couple cities. Obviously, we got several cities, but we got two worth talking about, Las Vegas and Reno. 85% of Nevada is federal land. There's very little population in the state of Nevada. It's a monster with very little population relative. So the attorneys that are in Las Vegas, they really just don't want... I will tell you, you as a normal consumer cannot attain an attorney in the state of Nevada, in my opinion, at all. If you don't have a six-figure claim, something that's substantial, and I will get into that here in a second in my steps, which I would suggest you do in any other state, I think you're gonna have more success than I did. So basically, these are my options. Do I get an attorney? What do I do? I will tell you what I have often done in the past. I've owned shops. I had a restaurant. I had issues with large companies before, and the tactics that I've often employed is I can't go up against those large companies, but the government can. So governmental agencies that have oversight powers over these businesses, this is a first step key in my opinion. So let me list for you what I actually did in late April to spur and get my title. First of all, I contacted I did a Google search, and I tried to determine what governmental agency in the state of Nevada regulates dealer licensing. And so in the state of Nevada, it's the DMV. We have very small government agencies. So the DMV is responsible for enforcing code in the state of Nevada that regulates dealerships, their procedures, how they submit paperwork, obviously to the Department of Motor Vehicles. So I reported them on with a report system that was available online. Basically, you could submit your problem to the DMV, and they would investigate it at some point in time. So that was step one. Step two, I contacted the state attorney general's office in Nevada, and I complained again that this company was in violation of Nevada state code, and that I would like them investigated. They had the same online complaint form that I could submit. Third, I did contact the Nevada Bar Association for a referral based upon the issue to hopefully obtain an attorney, and they did give me a referral. In the state of Nevada, that's the process. That kind of, if you are bar certified, you know, if you're a bar registered, certified, whatever you call it, when you're an attorney, when you have the Nevada Bar Association pass and you're licensed to practice in this state, you get referrals and incentives, and I believe there's a two-way system there. I think you have to respond to the referral. Things like that. So they gave me the name of an attorney and a phone number, And I contacted that attorney. I spoke to their paralegal or assistant. They reviewed my case and never called me back. So that just wipes away the first attorney referral. Next, what did I do next? I contacted my state representative. In other states, and this is the state level. This is not a federal level representative. You have the House of Representatives, and then you have obviously the U.S. Senate. That's a federal level. On the state level, you also have basically here in Nevada, we call it the Assembly, and these are representatives, state representatives of each district where you live, and then we have the state Senate. So because the Assembly are the ones that kind of, they're my representative on issues with the state and the state laws, I contacted my local representative by phone and by email, neither of which I ever got a response. So take out the attorney situation, take out the state representative, I got no help there. I did get a response from the Attorney General's office of Nevada stating that they had no jurisdiction over this issue. That's very confusing to me. I don't understand that. It seems odd to me that the Attorney General's office, which enforces the laws of the state, doesn't have jurisdiction over a dealership that's violating the laws of the state, but that's what they told me. So they referred me to the Nevada Consumer Affairs Bureau. Okay, so the Consumer Affairs Bureau handles fraud as it pertains to consumers in their relationship or course of business with registered businesses in the state of Nevada. So I went to their website and I filed a complaint form. It was very much like the DMV. It was probably about 2 weeks went by, and the first contact I did hear from anyone was the state DMV. And I was contacted by an investigator, and he basically told me that all the information that I had given them had checked out, that they had never submitted anything on the title, that he contacted them and basically threatened them with fines or something of the sort. I asked him repeatedly, what recourse do I have? And he said, we will handle it. I mean, we're the oversight agency. They can be fined. They can have their dealer certificate revoked. They can have things happen to them. I said, well, what will happen versus what can happen? And he said, well, it's just going to depend on the timeline of their response and things like that. He said he'd get back to me. I was informed fairly quickly that they acted upon that government agency interacting with them. They knew, okay, we can't waste any more time. And I was contacted by that DMV agent in about a week, and he said they have submitted for the title. So problem solved in the sense that I had my title paperwork finally filed 6 months after they were supposed to legally. So I told him, well, this doesn't set aside the issue of depreciation and the issue of the fact that I've been locked into this deal that I can't get out of because they didn't do what they were legally supposed to do. He said, quite frankly, because this state does have a separation of registration versus titling, he said, this happens all the time. When I searched the Better Business Bureau for RideNow Powersports, I can tell you that so many people have had this issue that some people simply walked away $10,000 dirt bikes with no title and just simply said they gave up. If you also notice, I did not contact the Better Business Bureau. I did, actually. I submitted and they never responded. The Better Business Bureau really doesn't have any enforcement power. It's kind of an independent agency, and it just obviously mars their reputation, but it seems like it's a reputation they really don't care about. So not much effect from doing that. So at this point, all I had left was the Department of Consumer Affairs, the Nevada State Consumer Affairs Department, whatever. Surprisingly, I was driving up the road one day and I got a call from the investigative agent from the Consumer Affairs Bureau, and she stated that she was 5 minutes from the dealership and was going to do a walk-in. Now, this was probably late May at this point. She said, I'm going to do a door, I'm going to do a door knock, whatever she wants to call it. And she wanted to go over the case with me. So I told her everything that I knew to that point, which was pretty much what you know at this point. And I said, my issue is that I have sustained a large drop in value, and I had just received the title at the point that I spoke with her. And she said, well, what resolution would you want? And I said, I think that they should be bound to purchase it back, to avoid litigation, to avoid any type of issues. You know, I said, I think it's really in their court to accept responsibility for the fact that they are outside the bounds of law, that they had sold me a vehicle that they knowingly, apparently, allegedly didn't have the title for. And again, I don't know the situation, and this is part of what would probably be discovery in a case, you know, that I would file against them, which I still have the right to do. The statute is short on this, but I'm well within the statute right now. So, so she said, I will go in there, speak to them, and I will call you back. She didn't call me back, and so I called her back, and I did get her to answer one more time. The one additional time is she said, I did speak with the general manager, and they wanted to contact their legal department, and that they would contact me within 7 days. So this would have put us in early June. At that point, I waited until the beginning, probably the second week of June, and I didn't hear anything back, and I've continually called this woman, and she doesn't even answer phone now. So, in summary, let's just say I have the title. You know, obviously I'm able to sell it at a loss, and that's that. So, I guess lessons moving forward, what have I learned from this, and what would I suggest to you? Honestly, this is just not a conversation I thought I had to have with a dealership. I didn't think I had to ask them, will I get my title if I buy this? I think when you deal with dealerships that generally sell cars financed, I think it is a risk to walk in there and do a cash deal. You're not going to get the best deal. You're probably better served to spend cash with a private owner, because you're going to get a better deal. You're not paying dealer prices. You're not going to end up paying the same taxes, typically speaking. And I think in my case, you know, I initially wanted to finance part of this, and we were mostly through the deal, and I felt like the deal was good enough that I would just complete it in cash. I will never do it again. Obviously, I've had 150 plus cars in my name, I would say, over the years. And how many did I buy from a dealership? Like 3. And I can tell you none of them were good experiences. So, you know, it's different when you're financing something, and you know, you obviously, there's a timeline for them to deal with the paperwork. In Carvana's case, a lot of people aren't getting titles. They're paying their vehicles off 4 years later. There's no title, you know, and that's because the prior trade-in person did the same deal. Where's the title? Is it with the prior bank? Probably not. Is it caught on some floor plan finance deal bank and they have it? Who knows? Who knows? Because these titles are gone. So I hope that can give you some insight. What I will tell you as an action plan, contact every government agency in your state, write to your representative, write to people who can actually do something. Again, if you're a dealer or if you're a finance manager, anybody that has any experience with this and wants to, you know, send me an email. Obviously, my email's down below in the description. I'd love to hear it and just learn more about it. So that's about it, guys. A lot of vehicle scams going on, a lot of parts scams, which I'm talking about more in other videos, but that's it for now. Catch you on the next one.